And I knew I was stuck in South Carolina the rest of my life. I loved it.
You weren't going to get to Europe, that's right.
No.
You were happy, yeah.
I made lots of trips, but
Right.
I have no desire to live anywhere else.
Wow,
Love
those
it.
are great words. Was your husband a Palmetto State native?
Yes, he was. Very much a staunch South Carolinian.
Really? Yeah. Did you all ever live in the Sumter area? Is that
Actually, Somerville.
Somerville? I knew there was an
yeah.
SUM in there. Yes,
I worked with the
yes.
Somerville schools. I was the first woman school administrator.
Is that right?
In 1975, I was the only one who wasn't a coach who was at the district office, and the only one who didn't drive a pickup truck. So I had to work hard to fit in.
Yeah.
And I did.
What was that like? That must have been exciting.
Well, it was exciting because that's when I got to put into action what I believe is the way you network and work with people and be a real person. I developed relationships. In fact, one of the lunchroom workers, and I left there in '86. One of the lunchroom workers came to the beach to see me 3 weeks ago for her birthday. She's 82.
No.
So you see, you make those connections,
Yeah.
but they don't happen overnight. You have to maintain. It's like growing a garden. You have to nurture, you have to water, you have to warm the soil. And that's what I do best, is warming the soil for relationships.
I love it, Muriel. So oftentimes it's tough to talk about yourself, but there must be something either about you or something about her that an 82-year-old would want to come visit you in North Myrtle. What can you imagine, as you say, watering the soil is a great
the
one.
connection for us, she had a lot of problems, and I would always listen to her. I'd go to that school. I had like 15 schools. I would go to her school late so I could have something to eat and talk with her a little bit.
With her. Yeah.
And then when I left there, they gave me this wonderful reception, and I got a lot of wonderful gifts, prints. But she slipped a card in my pocket, and I walked away from the festivities to look at the card because I wanted to reinforce her, and I opened it up, and it was something that's similar to this that you have. On her card were the words on a card that probably cost less than $1, because I believe that it's the little stuff that impacts us the most. On the little card were these words: some people come in our lives and quickly go, others stay a while, leaving footprints on our hearts, and we're never ever the same. And I read that. I put that card by my nightstand. I read it for 3 years, and that became the title of my book, Footprints on the Heart. So that's our connection. So here's this lady who feels discouraged and a nobody, who gives me a card, and that becomes the title of a book. So she is my hero.
That's tremendous.
And she wanted to come and see me.
Yes, you also mentioned a great, this was a verse
that's
really
a little
worth sharing.
Yeah.
It is a little longer. Do you mind if I read it?
Oh, I love it.
Maybe a paraphrase place. Actually, Muriel, you can probably read it better than I barely got through college, and you are a doctor, so please share that with
I will hold my comments.
Yeah.
This actually is a little more extended, and I found this when I was speaking in Costa Rica. I don't speak Spanish. I had an interpreter, and we visited an artist's home. And the only thing I saw that was in the English language in her home, her gorgeous home, was this that was done in English and a beautiful calligraphy. So I copied it down.
Yeah.
And it says, some people come into our lives and quickly go. Some people move our souls to dance. They awaken us to new understanding with the passing whisper of their wisdom. Some people make the sky more beautiful to gaze upon. They stay in our lives for a while, leave footprints on our hearts, and we are never, ever the same.
Wow.
Love it.
Wow. Now, did you see that later in life after you'd received the card from the gal? Or
Yeah, I saw
so
that
you
later,
really,
and I was
You
really
thought, wow,
gravitating to that
sure.
calligraphy that she had framed on her wall.
Of course.
Isn't it amazing?
Golly,
and I
that
said,
is.
what a connection. I'm in the place I need to be.
Of course, absolutely. You know, so oftentimes, and I know you've seen that or heard it, the Christian that speak about the footprints on
And
the
that's
beach.
good.
And of course, that's another great one. It's great to find something that folks can gravitate towards and let their mind race as to how that impacts them when they think of footprints. And as you said, watering the soil.
Oh, yeah. I really believe that we can't nurture relationships in cold soil. So we have to do bit by bit. We have to warm the soil. And, you know, Greg, there are people, I've read some of Jay Carter's stuff about how there's 1% of the population who are born to put us down. They're those invalidators. And they wake up in the morning trying to figure out how to put misery in our lives.
Oh, wow.
And for those in the viewing audience, if you're married to one, that's tough. But they are the ones who use criticism and complaining and nagging and whining and bribing and threatening, and they use all of those negatives day in and day out to put us down. And as from some other statistics that Jay gave, there's like 20% of the people who will give you a put down occasionally because it's self-defense almost.
Right, yeah.
But then there's 79% of the people who rarely say things negative. They're easy to work with, and that's the ones you want to work with.
Yeah.
Because research indicates that 1%, you're wasting your time. And I grew up with this idea that I can reach 100%. I've changed my mind. There are some people who absolutely plug into you like a vacuum cleaner and suck everything good out of you. Yeah. So, you know, you can spend your time on that one person all your life, or you can make life more positive for everybody.
A big difference for the other 99%. Absolutely.
So keep that in mind, and I've changed my view about the way I relate to people. Is there's some that you will never make a dent, and they like to keep you busy with them. So I was talking,
pulling you down. Yeah.
I was talking to Sherry before the show.
Yeah.
And I said, I like what Don Clifton said years ago. He said, we all start out our day with a dipper, a bucket, and a dipper. And we can be just full of it. We're so positive. We're going with our buckets full of positive stuff. And somebody's going to come along with an empty bucket, and they're going to dip in our bucket and drain us of what we've got that's positive. So we have to, before we can grow positive people, we have to grow ourselves. We have to keep our bucket full. And that takes a lot of work. And
that is a great point. I don't remember who it was. I'm thinking it's a guy named Philip Russell, and you've probably heard it somewhere else. It's that great simple reminder of an airline when when the pressure is the pressure cabin is sensitive and the thing drops from the thing and drops from the ceiling. It says, take care of yourself before you help the elderly or young one. And it's so important to really think about making sure to take care of yourself before you can really go out and help others.
And that's one of the things that I do every day is I try to keep myself filled with positive thoughts and looking at things from a positive angle. Because I read a statistic a few weeks ago that when you are a positive person, when you are emotionally positive, that you can add 10 years onto your life.
I heard that.
And
I heard that from Muriel too. I love it.
And that 9 out of 10 people in the workplace say they are a lot more productive when they're around positive people. Yet, some other stats that I read were frightening. 65% of the people in the workplace say they do not receive appreciation from their boss.
Oh, no.
And that blows my mind.
Wow.
But then I thought, I was in a school system 11 years. I have the one sticky note I got from my boss that said, good job, girl. So it's just amazing what a difference we can make.
Yes. Golly, Muriel.
Even when I'm at a hotel or a big convention, what I've learned to do, and that's important, Greg, we aren't born being positive. It's not in our DNA.
We don't come
But
out
we
of
can
the
certainly
womb.
mess up our kids and grandkids with their. We can perpetuate a negative history when we are negative all the time.
Right.
But I've often gone in a restroom, and here will be somebody working to clean, and the place looks great, and I always go up to the person and say, "Thank you. This place looks great." And so many times,
Good for you.
I've heard them say,
Right.
You're the only person who's ever noticed.
Oh, no. You and me both. That's right.
You see,
We do
isn't it incredible?
Absolutely. It makes a difference. I'll tell you some other funny things. Muriel, thanks so much for being with us. We're going to have to get you back tomorrow for
good.
Growing Positive People. Time has really flown by. Stay tuned to more Dr. Muriel O'Toole coming up next. What's the language of validation? That seems like so foreign. Those are tough words to wrap around. If you don't know what they are, you can come back tomorrow. Part 2 of Dr. Muriel O'Toole. What about mental vitamins? What are they? How do we use them? Do they impact our lives? Part 2 of Dr. Muriel O'Toole will be tomorrow. When we think about footprints on the heart, isn't that exciting? The gal in the school down there in Somerville slipping that little note into Muriel's pocket. Think about the experience and the difference that made in her life, how that impacted her going forward. She named a book, her first book, and even her second book, soon to come out, will tie into that little thing that this 82-year-old woman slipped in her pocket. Validation, mental vitamins, a lot more about positive people. You want to learn about growing positive people? Either come back tomorrow. If you can't be here, you can visit MurielO'Toole.com or give her a call at 843-249, I hope it's 6903. We got it. Come back tomorrow. Muriel O'Toole.